well, we've talked about the App Store frameworks. Let's talk a little bit more about the hardware. There were products already announced which would be Mobilin based. We were expecting some Mobilin based netbooks. I think there were commitments from Dell, Compaq, a few other OEMs. Will they now be MeeGo devices, or will they choose to actually leave that brand out and just brand it themselves, do you think?
Yeah, so Mobilin, the release that's out today is Mobilin 2.1, and we're working on 2.2. But 2.2 is where we make the transition to MeeGo. So all the features that are being developed right now for 2.2 are going to be rolled into MeeGo, and that's where we see a transition point. And then we'll have our partners have an opportunity to adopt MeeGo. We don't have much to really offer on the branding aspect, but I think we'll see a pretty good uptake on the MeeGo versus Mobilin, because that's really the future of Mobilin is MeeGo.
Yeah. Another question that came in is, what's the joint number of developers that are directly working for Intel and Nokia combined now?
The external developers?
So the Intel employed developers for Mobilin plus the Nokia employed developers for MIMO. Do you have any idea what the
I really don't have it. I don't have any idea about either side there, how many are working on each project, so sorry.
I mean, from what was been said before, I think you have hundreds of people working for Mobilin on the Mobilin side, and therefore we could expect a similar number from Nokia. Many hundreds of people, I think, directly and indirectly, the contributors and the developers that go around the edge of that. So I think we're probably talking about many thousands of people involved with it now.
I don't know Mobilin specifically, but at Intel, we have thousands of people working on software. Dedicated to software in many fronts, from the Mobilin projects to our acquisition of Wind River Systems as well, which is thousands of employees too. So it's a very significant effort at Intel. We take software really seriously, and it's really so important to the success of the platforms that we put a very good sizable investment there in people and resources.
Scott, we've also seen a couple of distribution already developing on top of Mobilin before. Means Olympus, Xandros, even Novell SUSE was developing on Mobilin. And so somehow you set already a kind of standard that got adopted by some huge distributions around there. And now all of a sudden they have to rename all their products, right? So it's not called SUSE Mobilin anymore. And do you think they will also make this step over to MeeGo? Because, I mean, Mobilin is free. Maybe they could still go on with it, right?
Yeah, they certainly can. I think it would come down to the fact that actually MeeGo, the fact that it's an open platform and now supported by even more major companies, that they'll see it gets its own brand recognition in the industry, and there's probably value in adopting MeeGo and the development platform that comes with it as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't shift fairly quickly to MeeGo because of the value it provides them.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, it's kind of interesting because I'm pretty sure that Olympus, Xandros, and SUSE never thought about anything like this, right? And all of a sudden, you are opening a whole new world for them, new devices, new mobile computing platforms, and getting them access to these markets.
Yeah, it's actually really good news for them and the opportunities it provides them. Yeah.
So we've got a question from the audience now. I'll just hand over the mic. If you could introduce yourself and ask your question to Scott.
Hi, I'm Matthias. If I'm a rational developer and I want to develop for the Intel program, I need some numbers on the install base or projected install base. Like if it's millions, I can develop a little bit more longer, spend a little bit more time. So what kind of projections, install base projections, do you give for both the Windows platform and the MeeGo?
Sure.
Good question.
Well, I'll tell you that the one area I can give you the most data on today is the area where the store is offered today, which is netbooks. So our App Center is available for netbooks and targeted at netbooks, and the install base for netbooks is 40 to 50 million devices already. And the projections are, I think, 160 million for the next 3 or 4 years. So certainly a big enough market for developers and application providers to get them very interested and an opportunity for them to make money. And
how many of them will be how many of them will be Windows and how many of them will be MeeGo?
I don't have that forecast there. Today, predominantly, all the netbooks, are Windows. As we move into more of the smaller form factor smartphone devices, that's where we see MeeGo to really see success as well in that area. But in the future, netbooks also will be using MeeGo, but I don't have any forecasts on that. Yeah.
I can probably add a little bit of thought to that. Not being Intel, I'm allowed to talk a bit more about it, but my thoughts are it really depends on manufacturers getting the App Store pre-installed on devices, because at the moment it's a download, and you've got to drive people to the website, the App Store website, and then get them to download, and then get them to use. It's a pretty expensive process. So once Intel get those App Stores pre-installed on devices, then the growth rate starts. But it does sound like it's going to be second half of 2010 before we see the first devices with the App Store pre-installed. That's a fair comment.
That's a really good point. When they come pre-installed, it's a much easier experience for the user, and then we see the use of the App Store to increase very rapidly. In the meantime, it's down for all the existing installed base users out there. It's downloadable. They can go to intelappup.com and simply download it into their netbook and start using the applications.
What about the international rollout?
Oh yeah. So the question was, what about the international rollout? So today, Intel App Up Center is just available in North America. We're in the beta mode, so we're putting this together very rapidly. Rolled it out first in North America, but our next target is Western Europe, and that's right around the corner. Very, very close. I'd say in the next, it's a matter of weeks, essentially, before we have Western Europe covered, be able to download and use applications and purchase applications in Western Europe.
Let me just add some information to the installed base. Because even though that there's no manufacturer in the netbook world rolling out Moblin or MeeGo netbooks right now, when we're taking a look at the global market, nearly 30% of the netbooks are getting sold, especially in Asia, are running Linux. And also Dell, a third of their netbooks is getting shipped with Dell Linux, it's a kind of canonical Ubuntu version of it. And actually, Canonical is also developing on top of Moblin. So I'm pretty sure when the first major brands like Asus wants to do this, not sure about Acer though, but Dell, as soon as they're going to roll out some Moblin and MeeGo platforms and netbooks, we will see some change also on the Western markets. Now it's mainly driven by the Asian markets that we see Linux on netbooks. So we might see a shift on this pretty soon.
Very good point. Yeah.
So if there's any more questions from the floor, we can take those now. And have you guys here got questions for Scott? We'll wind down now over the next few minutes. If you've got questions, just maybe come up and we'll hand you the mic and you can ask those. There's a funny question just coming in on the chat room. What should we call the development community? And the suggestion is WeGo. Which kind of brings up the question, where did MeeGo come from? Do you have any information on that?
I think what I've heard is there's two aspects I'm really trying to portray with the name. One is personal and mobile. So me is in the personal part and Go is the mobile part. Combine those for MeeGo.
It's not about...
So WeGo, yeah, there we go. That's a community type of...
So if you're listening live, you probably might want to go out and get WeGo.com before Intel do. So it looks like we haven't got any questions from the floor. So we'll wrap up now and say a big thank you to Scott Apeland for joining us for this MeetMobility broadcast. Thank you, Scott.
Oh, happy to do it. Really good. Thank you guys for coming.
All the best. We hope to connect with you again in the near future and get an update on what's happening in the IADP, the App Store world.
Okay, we'll keep you posted for sure.
Yeah,
all right.
And thanks to everyone here in Hall 7 for joining us. Thanks for your questions. And thanks to the guys on the chat channel. You've been listening to MeetMobility.com. My name's Chippy from UMPSupport.com. And I'm with Sasha here from NetworkNews.com. Thanks again for listening. One more thing, 2 o'clock this afternoon is a live podcast. I think we have 5 people. We're going to do a round table about general MWC stuff, what we've seen, and that's at 2 o'clock. So join us then. Okay, thank you very much.